Good morning. Welcome to my blog. Maybe when you're watching this it's not morning anymore. Even when I'm recording this it's not morning anymore. But who cares? Today I am going to talk about two interesting topics that have a lot in common. The Crucible by Arthur Miller and McCarthyism by McCarthy obviously. But before starting this amazing blog, I'm going to explain why my extremely beautiful voice is not in the video. Just 4 hours before I started, I went to the dentist and had a tooth pulled out. That means that right now I feel a lot of pain in my mouth and I seem silly talking. And I really don't want the video to sound like this.
Good morning, everyone.
You don't believe me, huh? I will show you some photos. Don't worry, I'll keep recording and editing tomorrow when my mouth isn't killing me. I also want to say that this video is sponsored by my English teacher, Miss Anna, who said we had to be creative and allowed us to use technology as much as we want. So I think this is a good reason to use Google Translate and a good opportunity to increase my English grade. Yee! What's going on with the Crucible? First, we are going to talk about what is it about. The Crucible is a 1953 play by the American playwright Arthur Miller. It is a dramatized and partially fictionalized story of the Salem witch trials that took place in the Massachusetts Bay Colony during 1692 to 1693. That means that it's a book about witches and people lying. Then we have McCarthyism. That is the practice of making accusations of subversion or treason without proper regard for evidence. The term refers to U.S. Senator Joseph McCarthy and has its origins in the period in the United States known as the Second Red Scare, lasting from the late 1940s through the 1950s. It was characterized by heightened political repression and a campaign spreading fear of communist influence on American institutions. Right now you must be thinking, why do witchcraft and magic is related to politics? Well, my little friend, I'll tell you why. Turning to real voice in 3, 2, 1.
Finally. I know. I cut my hair. That's crazy, isn't it? Okay. Let's get back to the real tea. Why is the Crucible related to McCarthyism? The answer is very easy. The Crucible, from Arthur Miller, is an allegory of McCarthyism. What? Yes. Yes, it is. Let me explain you why. Arthur Miller was greatly disgusted by McCarthy's investigation in the early 1950s, and he claims to have written The Crucible in response to this tense political climate. He was also fascinated by the environment of paranoia and its impact on society. At the time, it was very difficult to express an idea against the government without having trouble. So when he came across the story of the witch trials in Salem, he finally found a way to express these problems on stage. Yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is that Arthur Miller wrote about McCarthyism without writing about McCarthyism. That means that he made an allegory. And where can we find all these allegories? Actually, we can find them all over the book. Seriously, there are a ton of allegories. For example, in both, there was a real threat, but people overreacted with it. Both had scapegoats, both ruined lives, both had authorities that didn't protect human rights. And both are American? Well, that doesn't matter. That's not the point. I'm just gonna talk about the important ones. I'm just going to talk about the ones that I think that are the most important ones. First, allegory. Environment full of distrust. In the Crucible, everyone watches their back. Nobody wanted to be accused of witchcraft. During McCarthy era, it wasn't different at all. Americans were paranoid about not showing leftist tendencies. They didn't want to look like a communist. Second allegory. Reign of accusations. During McCarthyism, reputation could be destroyed and lives could be ruined with someone pointing at you. If someone claimed to be a communist, that person was deemed guilty until proven otherwise. In the Crucible, if a group of teenagers accuses you of being a witch, there's no more talk. The whole city starts staring at you. And third allegory. Innocent lives ruined. We are going to make a strange comparison between Hollywood and the Crucible. Both were affected by a wave of insane accusations. The Anti-American Activities Committee began investigating communism in Hollywood. 10 of the people accused of being communist refused to cooperate and were charged with contempt of Congress. And this not only happened in Hollywood, it happened throughout the United States. Let's compare this with what happens in the Crucible. Many innocent lives are lost, like those of John Proctor and Giles Corey. And even many more are ruined. If they didn't confess, they were executed. But if they confessed, they dirtied their name. Basically, you could take McCarthyism, replace the word communist with witch, and get an idea of what happened in the Crucible. In both the McCarthy era and the Crucible, the only way to get out of this is to name other communist or witch. This puts 99% of the population between a rock and a hard place, ruining the life of someone to save their own, a situation where you have everything to lose. Arthur Miller not only wrote a book, Miller spoke on behalf of many Americans and criticized the oppression that exists at the time. Crucible is not just a book, it is a play about honor, lies, paranoia, disgrace, and politics. It is just a piece of art. I highly recommend this book, and if you haven't read it, you should. I know I have a pretty strong accent, but I hope you enjoyed my video and that you'll learn from it. And I really hope this will make up my English grade. Thanks for watching, take care, and see you next time.